A rare thin hit on the yellow with Gorst. I think anyways, we'll probably get another look. Just the way the rack didn't spread quite as much as we see from him. Yeah, he got a little thin. Maybe he mishit the cue ball with a hair of left English. Now one you want to play, you don't want to push out from here, but you may have to. There's something you don't like. May just push out kind of where the cue ball's at now, just a little bit out of the pocket. A lot of times players will improve the cueing a little bit even though they can see the ball. And he just came out a touch. Now that's going to make it a little easier to chip the right side and control the 2 and bring the cue ball 2 rails down behind the 9, I believe. I think Atencio should take this. Well, he's cueing the left side, so he may be going for the make.
By and large, he's a very bold player when it comes to shot selections, and it serves him well.
Well, even with the tough break rule in the 4-inch pockets, the players, a lot of their mentality is if I can bury one big ball, I can put some racks together. Cue ball is going to follow this 2 ball. Trying to serve up a shot in the side or maybe the corner.
It's been a breeze so far for Gorst. He's beaten Diaz, Jose Ramon Diaz 9-3, and then I thought he played brilliantly to whitewash Wen Hai Dang 9-0.
Tricky little shot here, trying to gain position on the red 3. It doesn't look like he's cueing down that much, so I think he's taking the 2 on in the corner instead of the side. Maybe try to stun draw into the 7. Open things up that way. Decision, does he cross this over, try to make it, maybe try to put it on the top bottom cushion as the cue ball goes up table. Could easily kick and stick here, maybe get a snooker, maybe leave something long. There's that long shot I was talking about that Jesus will certainly attack on.
Atencio using his extension here quite sensibly. It's a 30-second shot clock with 1 30-second extension allowed per player per rack. Well, from where he was, not a bad try. I think in many respects, Jeremy got a little too close for his own good.
Yeah, that ball would have gotten away from the pocket. A worse miss is what Phil's alluding to, but still wasn't bad. You know, I mean, he did catch that side cushion, but you can tell this table starting to toughen up a bit. Not saying that one was supposed to go, but they had fallen in these early days. little bit of a decision here. If he wants to come up this side cushion, he wants to get up there a little bit. Doesn't want to be going towards the 8, drawing the ball off the 6, something like that. This is the one I was talking about. Could end up a little odd. So he feels like he can put a little speed, kind of make this bounce off the 6 a little, get to the side cushion, and then start to arc back towards the lower left part of the table for the brown and the lower right. He'll drop the tip on the last stroke.
Maestro man. I think he looks so good here. Not just in this rack, in general. Right from the start of the tournament, he's looked really sharp.
Yeah, well, at the moment, of course, it's going to sting to lose that world title, and it was an epic match, so nothing to shake your head about if you're Fedor Gorst. But he's the type of guy that would only serve him well, especially getting right back in the grease these next few weeks in a lot of big events.
Yeah, he's a serial tournament winner, and every time he rocks up, he wants to be the man holding the trophy. Just a little light there. Smidgen of doubt on the 9 ball, but it really is a smidgen.
Yeah, you'll see that with Federer, though, because he doesn't mind that working. No reason to take a chance on the 8, trying to pound it too much. Just work a little harder on the 9.
It went in as clean as a whistle. Gorst 1-0 up over Atencio. Now over on table 2. That upset continues to look highly likely, especially with Kakaris at the table again, with a chance to extend his lead, Jeremy. By the way, one of our other stream matches features Bernie Regulario and John Morrow. That's an absolute cracker at the moment. 6-5 to Regulario, and Robbie Capito 2-1 up on Francesco Candela, but lots of eyes are on Antonio Kakaris.
Yeah, and he's played solid safeties. What I've seen, good decisions overall.
Actually, just an update, Regulario and John Morrow have now gone 6-6. So much going on, we'll keep you right up to speed as always. Now though, it's back to Fedor Gorst.
Almost a golden break there, and probably caught him a hair thinner than he wanted, but much improved from the opening break. We'll see here. Now it's starting to bend back towards where the center of the table, so I think he's become the best breaker too. I mean, all in all, Phil, I think it's, you know, Kachi can really warp him, of course Shane, but I'm talking about something that repeats more often and has the power. It's hard to deny this guy being the best breaker, in my opinion.
There's simply no weaknesses in the game at all.
Now he's improved on the kick shot quite a bit. It's something, you know, that players will, as the years go by, they certainly get better at. But he was so deadly and still so deadly with the jump cue. Could overcome some of those missed kicks at times, but that's gotten really good also. He's got to smooth this if he's going to bank across side and come all the way back down. And this has got to move a little bit. Look at the speed. Is he dialed in? Just shy, I think.
What a shame. if he's not quite made the trek. Well, I think he might have done.
Yeah, and recognizing had to hit it lighter to avoid the scratch and the warp of the cue ball a little bit. I just got to cheat the pocket, a little nip draw.
Some players look very awkward when they're bridging over an intervening ball, but not Gorst. Again, something else he does superbly.
Well, I think there is a number of attributes. Of course, his cueing and his setup is so straight, everything that always helps. I think that's what makes his break so much more consistent also. But I think if you're going to build a pool player like height-wise and everything else, the stretch, and I think that's pretty on point as well.
I think I might have contravened my own rule there. I slipped into the old Gorst. It is Gorst. I've slapped my wrist. We'll call him FG for this one. 2-0 up. On table 2, Antonius Kakaris. He's got a shot on the 8 with shape on the 9, you would think. Pretty much guaranteed to go 7-1 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Of course, these matches are all winners' qualification. Still plenty of losers' side pool going on around this vast arena.
Yeah, Robbie Capito. I think he's been able to learn how to pick up the speed on the break as well. And very dangerous. Oh, a little chink in the armor from Antonios. Missed that 8 ball, got a little quick with it. FSR's got a long one he needs to bury to try and get back in that match.
Yeah, other winners' qualification matches going on table 23. Jeffrey Rodder, 4-3 up on Dimitris Lukatos. Albin Hauschen and Alex Bausch, 1-1. That's an interesting contest. Do not write off the chances of Bausch, who's a fine player from the northeast of the United States. And Petri Makinen and Tony Crosby, they've shared their first 4 racks over on table 27. Lots of other pool as well on the one-loss side. Of course, it's race to 9 on the winner's side, race to 8 at the moment on the one-loss side. And we saw a match earlier on, if you were watching, Earl Strickland beating Mike DeLauder 8-7. He played very relaxed in what was the 15th and deciding rack. And it turns out he got no idea it was a race to 8. He thought it was race to 9. He admitted that afterwards. So that miscalculation actually did him an enormous favour. Unintentionally alleviating pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why being able to pick up the speed on the break means something. That odd ball besides the one, it was the wing ball actually, got pushed straight in. It's got a combination here though, huge favorite I think. Now does the 3, does that pass the 9 in lower right? And the reason why I say that, he could possibly pocket the 1 and the 2 on this combo. He's cutting it in the side. I didn't know that was available. FSR did miss that 8 ball. So now Antonios on table 2 with the dressed up 9 to go up 7-1. Yeah, this is definitely cuttable. I'll let the cue ball run a bit. May get a little bump with the 3, make things even easier. Just going to chip this on the left side of the pocket a little bit. Okay, he didn't want to flirt with coming up the left side on the slick table. Just played for the combo. And essentially will make things easier to get from the pink 4 to the green 6 later in the rack with this purple 5 gone.
There's a lot of descriptive terms to attach to Gorst. I think the most appropriate, and it is complimentary, although it might not sound that way, he's just efficient. The height of efficiency.
Yeah, so efficient, it's really how great he is overlooked. I mean, just very efficient percentage-wise with the cue ball. Does a lot of the same things through each rack as much as he can anyways.
Yeah, the modern connotation when you talk about efficient, it's as though you're saying it's mundane, routine. It most certainly isn't. Anyone who's played this game to any standard just stands and admires how relentless, how ruthless he is.
Yeah, and of course there's a lot of talent involved, and we talked about how fundamentally sound he is. Sound is probably the wrong word, just fundamentally great, really. But the most obvious to me is putting in the time, and the correct time doing it. Real quality practice. I think all the players we see out there that do well, that's the one common denominator, I think, more than anything. Quality practice. Watch out, side pocket. May have a problem.
There we were talking about efficiency, and suddenly a mistake out of nowhere. And what was almost certainly 3-0 is now definitely going to be 2-1, and a pivotal moment. Jesus Atencio was desperate to get back to the table. He got back with ball in hand on an absolutely formality of a 9-ball. So it is 2-1 when, for all intents and purposes, it was going 3-0. Now, as Gorst has a logo issue, let me give you some scores on the one-loss side. Kwopo Cheng, 7-5 upon Paul Song. Didn't make the best of starts to that match, did Kwo, but he's now into his stride. Harrison Leenan, 5-1 upon Thomas Swain. Chien Ching Zhu, 4-1 on Mark Chapman. Trung Kwang Lee, 4-0 over Edward Epperson. Edward Koyonjian, who put up a good fight, I thought, against Jason Shaw earlier today on the main table. He's 6-5 up on Raymond Linares. Lo Ho Sum, former finalist in the World Masters from Hong Kong, 2-0 up on Bo Roten. Joseph Landy, 4-3 on Lance Schofield. Jimmy Garza just starting out against Canada's Rodney Carpenter. Garza leading 2-0. Matthew Franks has taken 1 rack, but Max Eberle has taken 6 on table 24. And Sanyan Pilovanovic blazing a trail against Eduardo Pinheiro, leading 6-0. Just to reiterate, on the one-loss side, it is only a race to 8. And that's why Nicholas Tan at 7-3 over Aaron Rangoon Annan is on the hill.
Yeah, this 2-ball is going to be in the open. Little on the 50 for the side or the corner. Jesus, I always talk about what a great stroke and talk about great fundamentals as well. Similar kind of a long guy. Generates a lot of easy power. I think he can shoot this in the corner and maybe go forward. Just barely bounce out for the combination on the 3-5.
with players of this quality, one mistake or a foul shot can lead to an extended period sitting down.
Yeah, and Jesus, you know, you talk about how good Fedor is. Jesus is very good in all departments. Also, maybe, you know, at times a little bit of a tactical selection here and there may get away, but one of the top jumpers in the game, breaks the balls awesome, can move the cue ball easily. Definitely not afraid to try and win matches against the best in the world.
Well, he's already beaten a legend here. He overcame Craig Lucas 9-1 in his first match, and then from 5-4 down on the main table, he defeated Earl Strickland 9-5. Towards the end of that match, he was a little fortunate, one has to say, at certain points, but towards the end of that match, I thought he played some powerful pool. By the way, on table 2, Antonius Kakaris is the 7, 8 and 9 away from being 8-1 up and on the hill against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. Who would have thought that?
And what he's looking at here is he's going away from the 7 a little bit. So he doesn't want to gain too much angle where he has to really work the cue ball from the 7 to the 8. So he just wants to go forward.
Just dipping into table 2. The 7 ball deposited by Kakaris. If the 8 goes in, surely the 9 will follow. Well, you saw that with your own eyes. He was extremely nervous, and that translated into what was a very jabby cue action. Have we seen the turning point?
Well, he missed an 8 and left it long in the last game, and FSR missed it from a little distance. Now he's missed this, and I don't know if this is a pocketable ball, even though just inches away. Can he spin that in with a lot of outside, a lot of right spin to try and turn it into that left middle pocket?
Two on the main table as they re-rack the balls.
You could turn that in actually pretty easily. He's got a true tester here, though.
I'll tell you what, Jeremy, that caught an awful lot of the far jaw, but it just about toppled in. Is that the lifeline that Francisco Sanchez Ruiz was looking for? 7-2 will keep you right up to speed with all of the developments. I just get the sense there things might turn around.
Yeah, he's had some big comebacks. None bigger than that one at the UK Open, I think it was. Really got that storm of about 18 months of pool for FSR where he just kind of dominated the world. Touchy little shot, maybe trying to go behind the 8 here. Well, he's planned it pretty well. No, he didn't get behind the 8. Did cover the 2 up nicely. Now Fedor pretty crafty with the pink 4 and the 7 there, is it? Think he can knock the 2 away and kind of slide down the rail just a hair.
Well, good news, bad news. The kick is made extremely accurately, but then the cue ball just squirted in behind the pink 4.
Yeah, you're trying to make the 2, but you don't figure it to happen, so you're playing the cue ball as much as possible, and it's going to make another nice kick shot here.
Extension. Station.
You see it so often. We saw it in the first match of the day, centre stage. Jason Shaw 4-0 up on Edward Koyonjian. He missed the 9 from distance. Koyonjian won the next 6 racks. Things change in 9-ball pool rapidly.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd try to go into these, though. The 4-7 combination, not that hard. Okay, he didn't. He just went up and down. I like that. Jesus looks very comfortable here early, and that's a good sign for this young man. Just kind of get involved in what he's doing out there.
Looks pretty decent using the bridge. Also decent, John Morra needs the 8 and 9 to go on the hill against Bernie Regulario at 8-6.
Well, I think John's overdue some deep results in one of these open events. Also maybe a little motivation, right, with the Reyes Cup. Now Canada can really get involved in one of those major team events, and you would think he'd be the guy.
It is 8-6 tomorrow. He has a remarkable backstory, doesn't he, John? Because he was right-handed, and due to an injury and the discomfort that caused, he basically switched hands. He still breaks, I notice, right-handed, but plays the rest of his pool from the opposite side.
Yeah, certain little shots every now and again, like if it's a real soft shot with a lot of spin, it may go back. Occasionally I've seen him shoot jacked up. He needs a lot of power, go back to the right, but still just amazing. Been a few through the years that have done it, but not as well as John.
It is 3 on the spin for Jesus Atencio. It all changed in rack 3. If you're just joining us, Fedor Gorst. Come on, Phil. He was 2-0 up. He potted the 8-ball, scratched at an acute angle, I thought, to the centre pocket. Of course, that meant ball in hand on the 9. He was not going to miss, was he, Atencio, and he's won the next 2 as well. So 3-2, Gorst trails. These days at these major matchroom tournaments are always very, very interesting, but I think today has been an absolute gem for so many reasons. We saw the Earl Strickland match against Mike Delorda go down to the final rack. The same thing with Torsten Homan, double world 9-ball champion, coming back from a 6-0 hole to beat Claudio Cacci. And now I think the final match of the day in the main arena is going to be something special.
Dry break. The one hit the top knuckle on the side. I don't think there's anything offensive, but he's definitely got something safety-wise to start with. Can't quite easily push through on the 1 and get him behind the 6. I wonder if he digs on this and tries to come back behind the 8, maybe playing the 1 off the 6, let the 1 go to the right side of the table as he digs on this. So what he's eyeing now is, oh, I can play the 1 like to the pocket, act like the 6 isn't there. The 1 should go to the right as the cue ball comes back behind the 8. Now he could fluke a ball. This could be the only problem. Like that, the 1 up in the corner. That's the fear I had. Favorite to hit it. Not a huge favorite, though.
The winner of this match naturally progresses to the last 64 and is guaranteed a payday. They've made the cut. The loser goes into, well, loser's qualification to take on Trenton White. Good young player from here in the States.
Yeah, right here in Florida. Plant City is where he resides. This has got to go a little bit to make it comfortable, and it did.
Plant City, the strawberry capital of the world, apparently. Former spring training home of the Cincinnati Reds.
Big red machine. Okay, just got to command the speed here. And Antonio's is at it again. He's got 3 balls left to go up 8-2 on FSR. It's table number 2.
Yeah, he's moved on a few shots in this rack as well, but so far so good. reputation counting for very little at the moment. Two of the game's biggest stars are in varying degrees of trouble. Confirmed. 4 on the bounce for Jesus Atencio. As on table 2, Kakaris looks at a 9 ball down the length of the long rail. It's in. Antonius Kakaris on the hill against Francisco Sanchez Ruiz at 8-2. So Ruiz, to avoid having to go to losers qualification, will need to win the last 7 racks.
Yeah, young Bernie got one back. He's now breaking at 8-7 and has broke the balls superbly. He's got a great shot, so that could be hill soon between him and Canadian's own John Mora.
Other scores in winners qualification: Petri Mäkinen from Finland, 5-2 up on Tony Crosby. Albin Auschen 3-2 over Alex Bausch. And Dimitris Lakatos and Jeffrey Rodder locked together at 5-5. Robbie Capito on table 4. You can see all of the action on table 4, by the way, throughout the week on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel. Well, Capito 5-1 up on Francesco Candela, and Kasper Matakainen, he leads Spander Paulino 4-3.
The cue ball got kissed downward. I'm not sure if the 5's going to get out of the way to get some kind of look at the red 3. It's made 2 on the break, being the 1 and the 2.
When he won the World Championship in such gritty style last year, time and again Fedor Gorst found himself in arrears, sometimes well in arrears. He's got the temperament to be able to dig himself out of a hole, but the opposite view is that Atencio has got the ability to pull away.
Yeah, and very interesting here on the push out. I mean, Atencio always likes his chances of making the push over his opponents. And now this is a different opponent with the jump cue. Excuse me, making the jump off the push out. Put the 4 in play also, so this is a winning shot, you would think. He's certainly going to take it.
Kakaris in amongst them again, with an opportunity to not just beat Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, but hammer him.
Yeah, and he's got a chance to do it in style with a break and run. He's made a nice shot on the 2 to get on the 3. I'm sure we'll pan over if there's a winning moment. Wants to probably avoid the 6 or 9 here, just to make sure that position on the pink 4. Yeah, really good. Remember that scratch at 2-0 from Fedor Gorst, and I'll tell you that scratch the way it was. This may get a kiss here on the purple. This needs to go a little bit. Just enough. But it seemed to me like the ball reacted differently than he thought it would. I feel like he was trying to hit a good diamond away from that side pocket.
Yes, it was all going so serenely. He was in total command. And with that one shot, everything in the landscape changed.
Yeah, just perfect speed there from the young man. No worries here, just don't baby it too much. It'll slide right in the pocket.
Jesus Atencio has got plenty of support, and now he's got plenty of racks. More than halfway to a famous victory over Fedor Gorst. Now let's quickly go over, after we've seen this 6-9 combo, to table 2, where the end might be nigh. Antonio Skakaris, 8-2 up on Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, 4 balls away from putting the finishing touch to what for him would be, well, definitely his best result on the World 9-Ball Tour.
I would say probably, besides maybe winning in a tournament, which is always sweet, but as far as getting a scalp, taking a scalp, this would probably be his biggest. You can see this is pretty much the shot. Get to the 7, you're home free.
Alexander Kazakis is a former World Masters champion who's had success around the world. Nikos Economopoulos, also from Greece, has represented Europe in the Mosconi Cup. They've got a really good pool heritage, the Greek contingent, and all of his fellow countrymen will be delighted for Kakaris coming through this one. Just 8 and 9 away from the biggest upset, certainly in terms of the scoreline of the tournament so far. Just taking his time, who can blame him?
Extension.
In it goes. Antonios Kakaris beats Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, former US Open and World 9-Ball champion, 9-2.
Talk about one of the more difficult hits here, trying to zigzag back and forth past the side. It'll have some speed. can see Bernie Regulario trying to finish off this match on table 3, him and John Mora. John was up 8-6, had a dry break, and I'm not sure he's really had an opportunity to win.
Very cool customer, Regulario. Must be full of confidence after his exploits at the World 9-Ball Championship. We've seen so many matches today go down to the wire, and there is another one. Regulario, the prevailing emotion, relief. He's through to the last 64. John Mora thrust into losers qualification.
Yeah, I don't know if he shoots at this or not. I think he does. Trying to maybe play a bit of a two-way. You almost feel like it has to be something odd for Fedor to make a mistake, like on top of the ball here, and it's always a little difficult getting the aiming. This is not easy either. May take the bank on, really. Now he's going for the cut. So I wonder if he comes across and plays a little underneath the 9 here. No, he's cueing downward, so it's going to have a little pace.
Very good. If he was 8-0 up, considering he's 5-2 down, an excellent stroke. Total conviction. Gorst stops the rot. It was a 5-rack rot, but now he's only a couple behind at 5-3, setting up what should be a really good finish to this match. So just to confirm, a few moments ago, Bernie Regulario came through 9-8 against John Mora from a couple behind. Petri Mäkinen looking good against Tony Crosby, leading 7-2. These are all winners' qualification matches I'm telling you about. Albin Auschen 4-3 over Alex Bausch. Dimitris Lukatos looking to follow the example of his fellow countryman Antonius Kakaris and beat a top-line opponent. Well, he's 6-5 up on Jeffrey Rodder. And it's all going Robbie Capito's way on table 4. He's 7-1 now over Francesco Candela. Spander Paulino and Kasper Matakainen inseparable at 4-4.
Looked like that last kiss was going to be deadly, and we'll see what Jesus does with ball in hand. But you know what the percentage are with these types of players, and they're playing so well. Don't see any real problems. I think the 5, the purple 5, does pass the 8. If not, the pink 4 is near, so maybe he can kind of produce something if there's a problem there.
By the way, just looking at the draw, if Francisco Sanchez Ruiz thought, well, in losers qualification he might have an easy time, that might not be the case, because if Earl Strickland wins his next match, they match up.
All right, wants a little bit of an angle. I don't know if he wanted that much, especially to a portion of the pocket, which is what I'm assuming. Easy to nick that 8 going by, especially trying to dig into the cue ball a little bit.
Well, a mistake on the 8 from Gorst. Gorst turned the match. I think it's when I get excited. A mistake from Gorst in rack 3 turned the momentum, and now just wondering whether the mistake from Atencio in hitting the 8 ball will cause it a pivot as well.
Yeah, if Gorst is looking to go forward here, 3 rails, the speed that's required, I think he catches a piece of the 8 on the slick table. I really do. The 4 was, or the 5, excuse me, was a little thinner. Yeah, I think I see him getting there, but I was going to say maybe even cross corner this ball. I know that sounds crazy, but he's such a good banker. I think it's hard to miss it cross corner for him, and that's the one that gives you shape. Caught a little thick, but again, the backdoor safety may be in mind as well.
Yeah, so often when it comes to shot selection, Gorst covers all bases.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of the safety in mind there, but I think he really felt like he was a pretty big favorite to make the bank. I felt like he was. I think the shot selection was certainly the correct one. So you got to go a little airborne here. Looks like it. If he makes it, watch out for the scratch in the lower right.
Might well have served up the rack there. Should have done.
And I'll tell you, you know, we keep stats here on the World 9-Ball Tour, and there's several different little categories, but maybe one that we need to look at more and would tell a story about Fedor Gorst and a lot of these greats is what's the percentage that they win when both players get to the table? When both players get to the table in a game, I'm just curious how high a percentage Fedor Gorst has of winning those games. I think it's a pretty crazy high percentage, considering. So Phil, did you give us your pick for the tournament? I know what Carl's is, I believe, anyways. It's Chua, I believe, yeah.
Well, he just about survived, didn't he, today? Having seen him play his first couple of matches, I would say Shane Van Boening is looking superb to me. Not exactly an outsider, but just got to go with the evidence of what I've seen.
Yeah, he was my pick prior to the tournament, and we kind of picked one that's hasn't taken one of these down. And Carl picked Rhoda. I picked, I like really what Sudo's been doing. I think he's the type of kid that's got the attitude to take one of these tournaments down, and his form has been excellent of late.
Yeah, maybe Piers Labutis.
Yeah, another guy that's turning into kind of Mr. Consistent, just looking for one of those real big wins.
We talked about that extensive list of strengths of Fedor Gorst. And another that you have to say, resilience in the face of pressure. When he goes behind, he doesn't panic. I'm not saying he enjoys having to fight back, but he embraces it, just gets on with the job. He's not daunted by being well behind. Obviously, he wants to win 9-0 every time he plays, or 8-0, or whatever the race is. But if he's behind, he doesn't drop his head, just gets on with it.
Yeah, it's another sign of one of those special humans in sports.
Table 2 action is resumed. Victor Zielinski taking on Thuong Nam Pham. Dimitris Lakatos 7-5 up now on Jeffrey Rodder. Albin Auschen stretching away against Alex Bausch at 5-3. And Petri Mäkinen on the hill against Tony Crosby at 8-2.
Yeah, smashing break. The two's going to be open. Going to be able to cue the ball nicely, and really his best spread so far to try and tie this match at 5 apiece. Wonder if he draws back short side here, maybe goes forward, stuns over a hair if he can, just takes the cut on the red 3. I think it's pretty straight here. It may draw back. He's just going to come one row at the 6. The 7 does pass the 9.
We talked about what a great day it's been, particularly for matches on the streaming tables, and that's why such a large crowd has been retained. That's what's made this tournament so far. The crowd figures have been a revelation. Obviously, big names attract big audiences. We've had the likes of Earl Strickland competing on this table. Double world 9-ball champion Torsten Homan. He's got plenty of supporters in this part of the world, and now it's a case of Gorst and Atencio doing battle.
solid stuff from both players. Now both knotted at 5 apiece.
Fair to say, Jeremy, a match that's living up to expectations. We knew that Atencio could put up a good fight. And Gorst, having been 5-2 down, that's what he's doing, fighting hard. On table 4, Robbie Capito close to victory over Francesco Candela of Italy. In fact, close to a very resounding victory. Now 3 pots away from coming home 9-1.
Yeah, and I've kept an eye on that. Of course, really like watching Robbie play, and Fran's such a good guy, of course, and really solid player himself. But Robbie's just really kept him in his chair, kept him handcuffed the entire match.
And I can tell you, if you want to tune into the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel, you can see next up on this table, Andy Goldstein taking on Jose Ramon Diaz. Comprehensive from Capito, the former UK Open champion out of Hong Kong, winning by 9 racks to 1. So that's the prize, the Florida Open trophy. Very ornate trophy it is too. And of course the small matter of $40,000 and the commensurate amount of World 9-Ball Tour ranking points. Not that Fedor Gorst needs a great amount of ranking points. He's got a glut of them. He's so far clear at the top of the world rankings. Had he won a second World 9-Ball Championship, he would have been riding off into the distance, uncatchable for a couple of years. Now, of course, Carlo Biardo has a fair few, and he's in the second position.
Yeah, and Phil meant his second in a row. He already has 2, Fedor Gorst, but yeah, still has a huge lead. Edward Koyanjian and Raymond Linares. Hill on table 5. Raymond, a Florida guy, who's right here in Orlando.
Another match has started on the winners' qualification. Naoki Oi of Japan has taken the first rack from Michael Bohannon, and just as I'm speaking to you, the latest player through to the last 64 is Finland's Petri Mäkinen, who's beaten Tony Crosby 9-2. One of the notable scoreline, Jeremy. What a great hour or so it's been for Greek pool. Dimitris Lukatos on the hill against Jeffrey Rodder at 8-5.
Yeah, you got to close that door, though. We saw a few of those get away. He's obviously playing a great match. And how was Kazakis doing earlier? He was in a match. Is that match already over?
Yes, he won very handily.
Yeah, he had a tough opponent, too. One of the nicest guys in the game. Now a father. Proud father.
Yeah, Kazakis beat the UK's Dean Shields 9-1.
Yeah, and Dean's kind of deceiving sometimes how good he plays.
Question here as rack 11 begins, can Gorst regain the advantage?
Yeah, that break is pretty awesome. Just get so much movement. better spreads as well.
Just in case the 4 ball goes in both pockets. Yep.
He doesn't miss a trick, does he? Fedor realised that it was going to be difficult to get that off the table. He realised that the 9-ball would have to be replaced. So he said, just to make sure, the 4-ball goes into all pockets. The template for success, that. The attention to detail.
Yeah, and he's got to make a nice little opener here. Probably settles 2 rails, a little soft 3rd rail just for the right side of the table. Take a little distance possibly on the 4, not too much. And kind of hooked on him a little bit, so a little more of a shot. Maybe we expected, but should be okay.
Extension.
Just to give you a plan of what's coming up tomorrow, early on, this winners' qualification round will be completed. It's not all over and done with tonight. And then we've got the thrills and spills of losers' qualification as well. Not to mention some action in losers round 3. So tomorrow will be a busy day also.
Yeah, and then we'll end the day with the draw, I would think, for the final 64.
Yes, so Friday, which is day 4 of the tournament, that features last 64 and last 32. Saturday, last 16 in quarterfinals, and then Sunday, the 2 semi-finals and the final.
Could play a kiss shot. I feel like it's going to be the combination, though. Maybe play the 6 a little into the bottom rail, let it bounce up, cutting the 7 in. Doesn't need a ton of speed. Another of those matches, we've seen a lot of them, where racks are being won in clumps. In this, the first 2 went to Gorst. The next 5 fell to Atencio. And now it's going to be 4 on the spin for Fedor. He is back in front at 6-5 after falling 5-2 in arrears. Yesterday we saw quite a few matches that were one-sided. It was all going in one direction. You knew pretty much from an early stage what the result was going to be. Today's been completely the opposite. It's been terrific viewing. Our last 3 matches on this table have all been
great to watch, and indeed our first match of the day, when Jason Shaw had to battle hard to beat Edward Karanjian, I think that set the tone.
Yeah, Edward's on the brink of elimination, though. Hill with Raymond Linares, and Ray is at the table. You can see it from a distance. He's got 4 to clear.
Yet another strength of Gorst, is the fact that in these kind of situations, not saying he feels cool, but he looks the epitome of cool.
You just wonder what may slow him down. And did he catch that one thin again? He had a couple. The first rack was really thin. The second was a little less, but yeah, a little thin on that, I would say, if he saw the replay. And that wasn't terribly thin. We're just used to seeing him a little more consistent back through the rack. Always an unlucky kiss, of course, but.
Well, now Gorst is desperately hoping that the scratch in rack 12 won't be as expensive as the scratch he encountered in rack 3.
I wonder if the 5-9 is an option at all. You always want to look at that, just in case you happen to get a little out of line, maybe, after a few shots are gone. Yeah, didn't really address it one way or the other, either with a little left side or right side to avoid the brown. Now on the fence, probably takes on the bank. Biggest shot of the match here.
Unhesitating. Not just the bank, but the shape attached. We were talking about Gorst being a cool customer. I think that applies to Atencio as well. He certainly was cool in the crunch against Strickland.
Yeah, you sometimes question if Jesus has a heart rate, really. Really pure stroke. Super, super big upside for this young man.
Called his extension on the 9 ball, perfectly allowable, perfectly sensible actually. If you've not taken it, why not just reset and make sure you're not feeling hurried? They are tied again. It was 2-2, then it was 5-5, and now It is 6-6. And the story of this match, from the perspective of Gorst, has been 2 expensive scratches.
That is correct. None bigger than, you feel like anyways, that early 8-ball just to keep Jesus in the chair. Got him going with that one, and now tied at 6. It's essentially 3 out of 5 from here. Whoever wins is through to the final 64. Whoever loses has to win one more match.
Well, of course, Gorst, when he lifted the World 9-Ball Championship trophy last year in Saudi Arabia, lost his first match. So he's well capable of recovery. But he wants the easiest path possible. Thought for a moment there, Jeremy, the 2 might just poke its head out from behind the 3, but it hasn't.
9-ball pool has so many different emotions involved, so cruel sometimes. It seems like you can't do anything wrong on certain days. It's going to be a battle for these last 3 games. No one giving an inch.
As he elects to push out, I can tell you Albin Auschen, twice World 9-Ball champion, 4 times a finalist in that event. He's on the hill against Alex Bausch at 8-3. Dimitris Lukatos, as suspected by Jeremy Jones, having trouble slamming the door against Jeffrey Rodder. It was 8-5, now it's 8-7 to Lukatos.
I was going to say that I think he gets this one back. I don't know if I would have got the cue ball on the rail here. Maybe it's tight, you know, enough room to bank the 2 kind of towards the 9 softly and use the 3, but he doesn't have that option. He's in a bit of trouble here. Hit that really nice, very confident stroke. A tap on the table from Fedor Gorst.
Yeah, the kiss on the 5-ball only exacerbated Gorst's problems.
Lots of balls down here, though. If he can find a path for the 2 to kind of escape, drop the cue ball down low. He'll take it.
Only day 2 of 6 this, and already this match has got real intensity.
A few different options on that safety. He really went for the, I thought the one that maybe, you know, very doable, but maybe the toughest of a few options to get the snooker. Does Gorst go for the bank here? Sits okay. He's going to have to shoot the 3 from distance, though. He's leveling out, so he's going to play the safety.
A few members of the crowd clapped, but then they saw Gorst's expression and realised that maybe clapping wasn't appropriate. Didn't quite do what he wanted to.
Well, he's definitely got a rail first of some sort around the 7, but he's trying to look at maybe swerving this slightly to get directly at the blue 2. All right, he's going to try and jump this. Is he going to try and double jump this to get over the purple? Because he can't fly it all the way there. I don't think you can keep it on the table. Yeah, watch for 2 jumps here. Yeah, that's what he was trying to do. And it surprises me because there was a rail first around the 7, I thought for sure.
Now open table. Atencio, we know, he's a really good potter. 7-6 for the Venezuelan. Looming.
Yeah, just simple stuff here. Just don't have to work the rock much. Stay off the rail with the cue ball.
He gives no impression whatsoever of being nervous, does he? Of course, still waters run deep and all that. But we've seen today a lot of players under pressure are prone to upper body movement, snatching at shots. That's not the case with him.
No, fundamentally very, very good. Talk about one of those players that kind of let the cue go out of their hand. He's kind of throws the cue a little bit, actually a lot of bit. Very straight with the stroke, great follow through. Feel a little odd here. Don't be afraid to just kind of stun forward and play short side if it's a little bit funny. Don't want to force the cue ball. Is he drawn all the way back? No way. Yeah, he is. Okay. Nice to be young, Phil. Just let the stroke go.
Fearless, not frightened. Jesus Atencio regains the lead against Fedor Gorst at 7-6. Now, I told you that on table 4, it was the next instalment in the Andy Goldstein show. Well, he's up against Jose Ramon Diaz, who's a capable sort. I think Goldstein would be a decided second favourite in this match, and Diaz has won the opening rack. Whatever occurs now, though, Jeremy, Andy Goldstein has done really well here to win a couple of matches and to go as deep as he has.
Yeah, I saw him earlier and he was just delighted to, like I said, not only win matches, but just get to play more pool, it seemed like. And he's going to be competitive in this match, though, given the chance. Diaz pretty solid. I mean, I played pretty bad in my match against him, but he did have 3 or 4 breaking runs. Atencio dressed up with a shot. 4-9 looming.
Yeah, Diaz plays a carefree form of pool, it seems, but he's not quite as accomplished as Atencio, who adopts a similar approach.
Yeah, but I think Diaz is kind of deceiving a little bit. He's better than what you may first think when you first look at him. And trying to play something containing there, Andy. It wasn't easy. And the only thing that may slow Atencio down here is a little bit of a stretch, because he doesn't want to just come up the right side to get on the 3. That doesn't really produce much for a run out. Maybe get out to the center somehow. Now that was the problem going into the 8. I think he did escape that and has a shot, but it's not easy. This is where those tools really come in. You know, the great fundamentals, exceptional timing. Now is he looking to just stop and bank the 4? That's okay.
Hold your horses. Never underestimate the power of pressure when a player gets on the cusp of a victory over one of the game's stars.
Yeah, first time I thought, you know, of course we're on the split screen, a little harder to see some things as much, but first time I thought he was a little quick with the stroke overall. Atencio maybe trying to thump that in from distance. All he was ever doing, though, was holding the cue ball for the bank on the pink 4. Now, Fedor's got a difficult safety here, so he may go for a bank cross corner. I think Atencio could bank this away and use the 4 or edge the 3. I don't know if that's enough. Doesn't appear so.
Nice pot on table 4 from Jose Ramon Diaz, who's got quite a following on social media. He's from the Dominican Republic. How about that one? How about that one?
I was thinking about the jump cue. You know, remember the 2 ball that Carlo jumped in at such a crucial time in that final against Fedor in Saudi Arabia not long ago, and big jump shot there from Atencio, possibly get him to the hill.
The 9 ball struggled in for Diaz, but it did go in, and so he leads Andy Goldstein 2-0. This, though, this is the more important contest, no doubt. And as a slice of inspiration from Atencio, set up Gorst for defeat.
Did he get a little flat here? Yeah, he's gotten a little flat, so getting above the 7, not saying it's not doable, but could have used a lot more angle. He's got such a draw stroke, though. Now he's going to fall a hair straight on the 7, so still some work. And that's probably the difference between Fedor and some of these guys. Like getting that position on the 6, Fedor's making sure he gets that easy angle. It's one thing whenever you have a difficult shot in front of you, but when you have something already set up, you want to keep it set up.
You would be surprised if he missed this 8 ball, but it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. Not in this context.
Yeah, he's got to address the cue ball a little bit. Maybe a hair side spin needed to avoid the scratch. Oh, he just eased it. Young man, really nice. Young nerves.
Gorst, 2 down. A possible 3 racks to play. Is last year's World 9-ball champion. Heading to losers qualification. We'll soon find out. It's 8-6 to Atencio. Let's take a quick look at table 3. All Asian battle between Michael Bohannon of the Philippines and Japan's Naoki Oi. Oi, a real comedian, but when he's out there battling away, he's the most serious competitor you can ever wish to come across. And looks like he's going to lead 4-1. What a time to break dry.
Yeah, it looked like the connection on the 1 was good just from the path of the cue ball, but
is that the pool gods repaying Gorst for what happened in Jeddah? He was 9-2 down against Carlo Biardo, came back to 9-9. He was 13-9 down, came back to 13 all, and then in rack 27, he broke dry.
I was wondering if he would take that gamble right there. Yeah, he did go across in the lower right. The 7's down on this end. Hard to fault that gamble to open the 8-9, but now he's a little pressed on the 2. That's just a sliver of it. Try to cross this with a lot of inside spin. Try and come behind the 8. Slick table, you can occasionally get a kiss here. It shouldn't be a problem. And this speed looks excellent.
Visualization meets execution.
Yeah, but he's getting to the table after that drive break and really a great starter. He's going to come 2 rails at this. He's got to hit up the rail a little bit with a little side spin. Try and straighten it out off the 2nd rail. Should get a really good camera angle. I wouldn't even worry about the 9. I'd like to hit underneath this 2 ball. It's a big ball trying to hit the bottom side. Try to hit a certain part of the top side. You could certainly whiff it. He should be, yeah. Well, he's aiming pretty deep. This spin may not take. Oh, wow, what an effort.
Certain members of the crowd on the right-hand side of the table as we're looking thought that 9 ball was in. It was close. They were just about to celebrate, and then the bumblebee stayed on the table. As they say, Jeremy, as we say often, a game of fractions.
Yeah, they call American football game of inches. Just imagine what this is. And might see a little 9-ball action here. Don't think so, but possibly gets into the 9. Yeah, he was going for it. May get away with this. Of course, Atencio very, very good with the jump cue. Fedor Gorst the best, but Atencio not far behind. It's the type of shot, though, the jump, you know, these guys are so good, and maybe I'm talking in an area I shouldn't talk about, but I feel like if he tries to get position, it's not so easy. He could miss this. Yeah, he's trying to put a little more speed to try and work the cue ball.
On the carpet means ball in hand. Ball in hand surely means 8-7. Gorst, I should say. I keep saying it. That's 5 times I think I've transgressed in this match. I apologise. Gorst fielded that cue ball like a shortstop in baseball. What he wants here is a triple play. Racks 15, 16 and 17. All the way through last year's World Championship, all the way through this year's World Championship, until the bitter end, we were saying that Gorst finds a way to win. Can he sneak through this match?
Well, he's ended up quite thin here. He's got to work the ball between the 8 and 9 off 3 cushions. It's got to go a little bit. Just a little bit. It's got to go. Whew. Definitely has a shot, but could be a little easier. And how much of the pocket does the 8 have? So always when you're thin like this, how you hit the pocket determines the cue ball and where it's going to settle. So not only a tough 7, but could be tricky on the 8.
What a superb pot, at the very least. When the match is on the line, when there's no more room for error.
May let the cue ball go at the 9 as well, if it sits natural.
Surely there's no way he's going to miss this 9 ball. So a really entertaining match will be extended. No mistake. Gorst now only 8-7 behind. Really good stuff, this. Good choice to put on the main table. On table 20, it's also really tight. Kasper Matikainen and Svabanda Paulino locked together at 7 racks each. These are all winners' qualification matches I'm telling you about. Victor Zielinski 3-2 upon Fuang Nam Pham. On the loser's side, I can tell you Andy Goldstein has pulled a rack back against Jose Ramon Diaz. Diaz now leading 2-1. Back to winners qualification. Dimitris Lukatos did hold off Jeffrey Rodder, but it was tight. Could have been tighter actually. Went down to Hill. Lukatos winning 9-8. Alvin Ashen comes through 9-3 over Alex Bausch. Naoki Oi 4-2 on Michael Bohannon now. Bohannon just winning the latest rack with a 3-9 combination. And they are the scores in winners qualification in matches going on presently.
Oh, he's definitely going to get a starter. What's the 5-9 look like? 2, 3, and 4 on the top end.
Not the first time the official has had to conduct a delicate operation.
Yeah, I mean, Fedor maybe has look at a kiss shot on the 9. It's a little far away from the pocket, but it is there for the lower left. One good thing for Fedor is the 4 is there to maybe gain an angle to, you know, kind of lightly go into the 5-9. Not necessarily something you want to do in this situation, but such a good banker. Of course, you can get position to maybe bank the purple, and there's always the safety option.
If you're a fan of dramatic hill pool, well, today's been a treat for you. Earl Strickland coming through 8-7 against Mike DeLorda. Then we had that remarkable match when Torsten Homan was 6-0 down, defeated Claudio Cacci 9-8, and now this could so easily go all the way.
And I think the kiss shot is there. It's just, you know, do you really want to pull the trigger on that in this situation down 8-7 with maybe some safeties in mind? Could fall down on the bank on the purple 5 for the cross side. This decision here should tell us about the purple 5. Didn't quite get on the bank. Not so sure the safety's exactly where he wanted. I still think he can play the 9 from here, really. So he's going to play the purple down on the bottom. So Jesus is going to get a chance. This is going to come out a little bit. No, very good.
I was discussing this with Scott Frost on commentary yesterday, Jeremy, and I think you will agree, when it comes to hiding behind a single ball, no one is better than Gorst.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we see a lot of them. So, it makes you think that, but there are some guys out there tactically that are pretty incredible. I think Albin Ocean comes to mind to me. Kachi, very, very good. But, yeah, I think that's one part of the game that Gorst has improved and certainly become tactically one of the best in the game.
Obviously, when you hide behind just a single ball, your weight has to be ideal, and he gets that down to the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's a sign of that talent. Oh, he's may have fluked a 6 if there's enough speed.
No one slam a door. No one stamp their feet. Again, that old chestnut, a game of fractions.
And really, from where he was, the kick and stick wasn't on, so I don't blame him trying to, shake him around a little bit, maybe get a little fortunate one way or another.
Carl Boyes is on the commentary podium with us. One of those matches that you just can't take your eyes off.
Did he get enough? Oh, it just hooked on him a little bit. So now here's that one ball scenario snooker you were talking about. Don't think he'll go for the bank. Very hard to get that feeling when you're on top of the ball, so it should be a safety. And he's done well again. If he has a piece of this, I really don't know what he plays. I like smoothing this, trying to keep the bottom, cue ball on the bottom. Never mind, never mind.
A scratch on the 8-ball was the start of Gorst's problems in this match, and now that unbelievable shot on the 8 from Atencio might be the end of the match for Gorst. Victory for Venezuela. Gorst not out of the tournament, but he does go to losers qualification unexpectedly. Having beaten Earl Strickland in the previous round, Jesus Atencio comes good again, this time by 9 racks to 7. What a contest that was. Gorst in unfamiliar territory, fighting for his tournament life. Atencio into the last 64. Well, it's been a great day of pool here at the Carib Royale Resort. We hope you've enjoyed it all on WNT.tv. The streaming continues, of course, on tables 2, 3 and 4. And if you want to catch up with all of the scores as the action continues today, well, just go to WNTLivescores.com and all of the information will be there for you. As for Carl Boyes, as for Jeremy Jones, Scott Frost and myself, Phil Yates, we'll be back tomorrow, 11 o'clock local time here in Florida for day 3 of the live SB.io Florida Open. Hope to have your company then, and maybe by day 3 I'll be able to pronounce the name of the World 9-Ball Tour Rankings #1 with no problem. It is Fedor Gorst, but he wasn't the man in our last match. Oh no, it was Jesus Atencio. Bye for now.
We are guaranteed phenomenal days of action right here in Florida. Drama is certainly guaranteed in front of a hugely raucous crowd. The American fans really get into the spirit.
Nine ball fans all around the world. There's so much history, so much prestige, and it all comes down to this.
So much action lies ahead at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida.